All right, let's talk about meditation. But let's cut through all the noise, We're going to get to the real, nitty-gritty reasons why someone might actually start a serious practice. We're going to move right past all the usual wellness cliches and take a really practical look at what it actually means to get started.
And look, let's just be real honest from the get-go. This is a serious undertaking. This isn't just about a 5-minute app. It takes real effort, a certain amount of stability in your life, and frankly, a lot of courage. So that brings us to the big question we're tackling today, and it's a simple one. With all those challenges, why? Why would you even start?
Okay, so let's dive right in. Why even start the journey? What are the real motivations? What are the hooks that actually pull people in and make them say, okay, I'm doing this?
Well, if you ask people who are deep into the practice, the reasons they give, they're powerful and they're really personal. For some, it's a very direct goal, to end personal suffering. For others, it's just pure curiosity, like, what is this mind really? What's going on in there? Then you've got folks who do it to better help others, to be more present for the people in their lives. And hey, sometimes it's just the inspiration of a massive challenge, right? Like climbing a mountain because it's there. Some people are just wired for that.
And then there's my personal favorite reason, I've got to say, because waking up is just so totally cool. I love this quote because it's just so honest, and it totally cuts through this idea that meditation has to be this super serious, solemn thing. Sometimes the real driver is just the profound, mind-blowing adventure of it all. It's about fundamentally changing how you see everything. How cool is that?
All right, so if those are the reasons to start, what's the actual destination? This is where a lot of myths and misunderstandings creep in. So let's get really clear and draw a sharp line between what people think the goal is and what it actually is.
So on the one hand, you've got the myths. People think the goal is to become some kind of good Buddhist, or to put on this super calm persona all the time. Or maybe that you're supposed to just empty your mind of all thoughts, which, good luck with that. But the reality, it's something way more radical. It's about developing deep insight. It's about understanding the actual mechanics of your mind and, get this, fundamentally changing your perception to see what experience is really made of.
And that brings us to what's called insight practice. So here's the key thing to get. This is all about direct investigation. Think of it this way. It's the total opposite of getting lost in thought. Instead of thinking about the feeling of sadness, you're looking directly at the raw data of sadness in your body, moment by moment. You're not analyzing it, you're just seeing it.
Okay, so just like any epic expedition, you don't just wander off into the wilderness, right? You need to prepare, and navigating your own inner world is no different. The source material is super clear on this. This kind of deep dive isn't for everyone, or at least not for everyone right now without the right foundation in place.
So what does that foundation look like? Well, first up is mental stability. You really need to have, and this is a quote, your psychological trip together. Second, you need some basic life stability, a safe place to live, food, your basic needs are met. And third, and this is super important, you need some learnable skills, specifically the ability to actually handle difficult mind states with some kindness when they pop up.
And there's a really good reason for all this prep work. The journey, it absolutely includes some difficult terrain. We gotta be honest about that. And one of the most famous, or maybe infamous, parts of this map is a series of stages that people often call the Dark Night. This quote just nails it. The Dark Night is the polar opposite of what people call spiritual bypassing. Where you just use positive thinking to ignore your problems. No, this is the exact opposite of that. You are in it. You are deep, deep into it, facing your darkest, most challenging stuff head on. There's no running away. Okay, so after hearing about all the prep work and, the Dark Night, you're probably asking a pretty obvious question. What makes all of this worth it? What's the ultimate reward for doing all this incredibly intense inner work? So let's just ask it plainly. Is this intense journey actually worth all that difficulty? Is the payoff really there? Well, let's take a look at the kind of transformative outcomes that people who have done this work say absolutely justify the whole expedition.
So what are the outcomes? Well, they're pretty profound. We're talking about increased clarity and a kind of mental nimbleness, a profound acceptance of reality, just as it is, without fighting it all the time. You get this greater intimacy with all of life's experiences, the good and the bad. It's about gaining real skill in navigating tough emotions. And really, the whole thing boils down to this, the incredible freedom that comes from deeply, truly understanding how your own mind works.
And I think this is maybe the most important takeaway of all. The point of all this is not to eliminate your humanity,
to become some kind of detached robot. It's the opposite. It's about learning how to fully understand it, to experience your whole life, the joy, the sorrow, the whole messy, beautiful thing with a depth of wisdom and clarity that you might not have even known was possible.
You know, the territory of your own mind is vast. It's complex, and it's just waiting to be explored. It's kind of like the final frontier, isn't it? So really, the only question left is the one you have to ask yourself. Are you ready to take that first step?